In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 24th, 2022, and providing you with team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Texas versus Texas Tech. The Texas Longhorns and Texas Tech Red Raiders meet Saturday in Week 4 college football action. The Texas Longhorns look to build on their 2-1 record. The Texas Tech Red Raiders also look to get off to a 3-1 record. The Longhorns won the last 4 meetings against the Red Raiders and are looking to continue their dominance. Texas is still deciding on who will be quarterback this week as starting quarterback Quinn Ewers returned to practice. Hudson Card has stepped up his absence, throwing for 343 yards and 1 touchdown in 1.5 games played this year. Regardless of who starts at quarterback this week, there should be solid production at that position. The Longhorn offense has been clicking on all cylinders with balanced production through the air and on the ground. Texas has averaged over 5 yards a carry and 12 yards a reception. Texas Tech has had a solid start to their season, starting 2-1 facing 2 top 25 teams. Despite having mediocre quarterback play, the Red Raiders have competed at home, being undefeated at home. Donovan Smith at quarterback has thrown for 7 touchdowns this season, but he has also thrown 5 interceptions. It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation with his play and is unreliable for success. The Longhorns have had the harder of schedule with facing Alabama and UT of this year. It was impressive that Texas held Alabama to 20 points in that game in a very close matchup. It will be hard for Texas Tech to keep this game close with their quarterback play, so the Texas Longhorns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The total has gone over in the last 4 encounters between Texas and Texas Tech. Last year, the Longhorns trounced the Red Raiders 70-35 as 9-point home favorites with a total of 62.5 points, while 6 of their previous 7 meetings have produced more than 60 points in total. Despite the head-to-head betting trends, I'm not expecting a firecracker this time around. Without Quinn Ewers under center, the Longhorns will look to run as much as possible and control the clock, while their defense will be focused on Donovan Smith and the Red Raiders' passing offense. The under is 4-1 in the Longhorns' last 5 games overall, and it is 6-2 in their previous 8 contests played on Saturday. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Notre Dame versus North Carolina. Notre Dame will try to build on its first win of the season when it travels to North Carolina on Saturday afternoon. The Fighting Irish finally picked up a win under first-year head coach Marcus Freeman last week, sneaking past Cal at home. North Carolina is coming off consecutive road wins at Appalachian State and Georgia State in its last 2 games. The Irish are 4-0 against the spread in the last 4 versus the Atlantic Coast Conference and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on grass. Notre Dame is 20-8 against the spread in their last 29 road games. Meanwhile, the Tar Heels are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 in September and 1-4 against the spread versus a team with a losing record. UNC is 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 at home. Notre Dame finally earned its first win of the season against California, 24-17. Throughout the season, the Fighting Irish have struggled to score points consistently. However, North Carolina hasn't. The Tar Heels have scored an average of 51.3 points per game while putting up nearly 550 yards of offense. Drake May already has 11 touchdown throws and is 15th in all of college football with 930 yards passing. The running game has also been effective behind Omarion Hampton, who has rushed for 228 yards and 5 touchdowns. Notre Dame's defense is going to be good this year, but will the offense put up enough points to win this game? Probably not. Backup quarterback Drew Pine threw for 150 yards against California last week and finished with a QBR of 59.3. Pine probably can't be any worse than Tyler Buchner, who had been the starter before being injured. Realistically, Notre Dame came into the season with no reliable quarterback, and it's showing. I don't think Notre Dame's offense can keep up with North Carolina's, so the North Carolina Tar Heels money line is our full game side pick. The Tar Heels have been lighting up the scoreboard this season and have gone over the total in 4 of their last 5 games dating back to last season. Their offense was expected to take a step back this year after losing their star quarterback, but May has stepped up and done a tremendous job so far. Marshall was able to score 21 points against Notre Dame's defense, so I am not confident in that unit. Plus, North Carolina's defense is awful. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Minnesota versus Michigan State. The Minnesota Golden Gophers travel to East Lansing to take on the Michigan State Spartans as both teams kick off the Big Ten portion of their schedules. The Golden Gophers roll in with 3 straight wins, all at home, versus non-conference opponents. The Spartans dropped from 11th in the rankings down to 22nd following a 39-28 loss at Washington. Minnesota and Michigan State enter Saturday's contest playing much different football. The Spartans are licking their wounds after a convincing defeat at the hands of Washington, while the Gophers are playing some of their best football since 2019 under PJ Fleck. Typically, I would try to buy low on a team like Michigan State, especially at home. However, the Spartans have underwhelmed me through their first 3 games, and I've seen nothing to expect a change in performance. For one, Michigan State's defense is still clearly a work in progress, especially in the secondary. The back 4 was the weakness of the Spartans' defensive unit a season ago, and that hasn't changed this fall. It truly reared its ugly head against Washington, in which they allowed 397 yards and nearly 10 yards per play against the pass. Even while they were dominated, the loss could have been so much worse, as the Spartans also benefited from 3 turnovers from the Huskies, something they likely won't get against a veteran Minnesota team on Saturday. To make matters worse, star wideout Jaden Reed didn't make the trip to Seattle and is still nursing an injury that could keep him out of this Big Ten matchup. Michigan State's passing game has clearly suffered as a result, and quarterback Peyton Thorne hasn't looked calm or confident in the pocket. Struggling against Washington is one thing, but throwing 3 interceptions against the likes of Western Michigan and Akron doesn't bode well for Thorne against a stout Minnesota defense. To be fair, the Gophers haven't faced the greatest competition through 3 games. However, it's hard not to be impressed at how they are just bludgeoning teams. Minnesota has outscored its opponents 149-17 to this point, and it starts in the trenches. The Gophers have totaled 300-plus rushing yards in each of their first 3 games and look poised to do so against Michigan State's subpar defense. Mohamed Ibrahim has been as advertised, and Tanner Morgan is on pace for his most efficient season since 2019. Minnesota has been able to score by moving methodically down the field and through explosive plays in the run and passing game. The Gophers have done it all to the tune of one of the best EPA margins in the nation this season, with Michigan State's having just returned from a trip to the West Coast, coupled with its poor secondary and uncertain injury status at wide receiver. Minnesota is already a leg up heading into this one. With the duo of Morgan and Ibrahim at the controls, the Gophers should be able to sustain drives and consistently put themselves in Spartans territory. This is clearly the best team in the Big Ten West, and I expect Minnesota to solidify that with a statement game on the road. So the Minnesota Golden Gophers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The loss of Autumn Bell hurts, but Minnesota still has a ton of weapons on offense and top numbers across the board. They come into this one against a Michigan State defense that just gave up over 400 yards passing and now have to hear grumblings about its awful secondary once again. Last season, the Spartans were able to mask the deficiencies of their secondary with a ground and pound offense that controlled the clock. In this matchup, they face a team that specializes in controlling the clock to the tune of nearly 40 minutes per game. Minnesota's defense has the numbers but hasn't been really tested yet, so I think the Spartans will put up points. Expect a game in the mid-50s in this one, likely decided by a final possession. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.